Okay, welcome guys. It looks like we've got green lights, so I'll just double check. See what we've got. Yes, we are live. Great. Okay. So welcome. Sorry, I'll just let this one go back. I'm just waiting for Age of Wonders, Empire and Ashes to actually load in, and then we can sort of go through it. So high availability and Rogue and Sorbicol. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, it won't go back there just yet until it loads. Anyway, what I might do in the meantime actually is I'll just do a quick little announcement because YouTube has now actually added in an aspect where I can start to actually, when I'm scheduling my videos, I can actually schedule them, not just to schedule them, but I can schedule them but still allow members to access it. So if you are interested, there's a members only videos playlist essentially. So if you're a member and you go to membership at the top, you should then see the list of different videos that have actually been hidden away. So for example, you know, the coming videos for, like I just released a Shadow Empire one today, but there's another one ready to go up in a couple of days' time. That will basically be, if you are wanting to get advanced access, this is the first time that really memberships, I think, for YouTube have got a tangible benefit. And so I thought I'd just sort of I'll be pushing this a little bit over the next few months, I think, just because I think it is actually finally something that's really, you know, it's an actual tangible benefit for anyone who does become a channel member. So anyway, there's different sorts of things in through there. You like a few different other ones like this. This one here. I forget when I'm releasing this one. I've got a funny feeling that may be later on today. But anyway. I should have probably this is about the sort of number of videos that I would hope to be sort of keeping queued up, ready to go. So I'll have to be recording a few other different videos, coming up fairly soon as well. So I've got a whole heap of Age of Wonders 4 games, which are I'm not allowed to actually release those until tomorrow, but they're sort of all in their schedule and ready to go. So anyway, there is so that is now finally a bit of a tangible benefit if anyone is interested. So that's it there. Now we should be able to go back to the actual game itself. Here it goes, just loading in. I must have had another update potentially. So I think I said hi to availability and Rogue and Sorbicol. Hi Michael, hi Bob, Sea and Sand. We've got AS Russell and Thomas and Jemison. Hope everyone's doing well. So anyway, Empires and Ashes. Let's have a look at it and sort of just go into. I'm allowed to live stream it. That's today technically. So I'm not allowed to put videos up until tomorrow publicly, but I am allowed to live stream it as of an hour ago. So I thought, well, I can. If I'm live streaming, I'm live streaming. So I might as well just go through what the game has got today, and then if you guys got any questions, want to see anything about the game, just sing out, let me know. So I think the easiest way to sort of look at this, there's a few different things actually which are quite interesting that I've sort of noticed with it. Now this, I don't know if this is updated. I think I may have updated actually. So this may be slightly different to what I've sort of been recording with. Hi Steve and Joe. So if we just go to new game. Now we have, there's 2 things that got released, or that will be released. There's the, I hope this isn't too loud. Yeah, it should be okay for you guys, I think. 2 things are getting released basically in a couple of days' time. So Unborn is saying, hey Daz, I have a question. Do you know around the exact time frame the update will become live to PS5 users? I've got no idea, sorry about PS5. Even the update, I think it comes out at the same time that I'm allowed to release videos, which is in 23 hours time, I think. But I'm not 100% sure about that. And I don't know about PS5, sorry. So, but it is within the next day or so. So what we end up having through here is, like with the updates, you've got the Golem update, and then you've got the paid DLC, which is the Empires and Ashes DLC. So when you sort of see things, we're going to have things like Empires and Ashes back in through here, for example, which is another story. So we've got like we had an original story, a Valley of Wonders story, which was there. We now actually have a new one as well, which is for the Empires and Ashes. There was never one done for Dragon Dawn, so they didn't have their own actual, scripted story, but they do with the Empires and Ashes. I've started to play it a little bit. What it's about is, well, I'm allowed to show it, so I might as well just go and just do it. I'll just go and select that one, and I'll just show you what the backstory. I'll just choose one of the like Larissa is actually one of the actual, I guess she's the protagonist, or one of the protagonists actually in the game itself. So she comes up in the game. And do we have the other one? No, I'm not seeing him there. There's one of the dreadnoughts from Age of Wonders 3 comes into it as well. But if we just go and grab, for example, this is the new Reaver faction. I'll go into this in more detail. We'll just select that faction though for now, and just go in, and then I'll just do the bit of the backstory so you can sort of see what's going on here.
Before the Fourth Age, when the final world, Elven court and Commonwealth put aside their grievances and made a brave stand against the invading wizard kings. In the wars that followed, these heroic alliances crumbled, and entire armies were cast into the depths of the astral sea.
Okay, let's go next.
The dreadnought Edward Portsmouth
Here we go.
and the sorceress Larissa commanded the vanguard of Commonwealth war machines. After they plummeted into the astral sea, they were adrift between worlds, haunted by lurking horrors. Only Larissa's magic, paired with Edward's resourcefulness, protected the castaways from the magical currents.
Okay, so just to sort of summarise, this is like remember the old dreadnoughts from Age of Wonders 3? So Edward Portsmouth was actually one of the characters from Age of Wonders 3. So just go next.
After what felt like an eternity of torment, the drifting remnants of the Commonwealth sensed a shift in the currents and happened upon a realm which appeared out of nowhere. The survivors met its inhabitants, an ancient, knowledgeable people called the Krasura. Negotiations were challenging, but the survivors were allowed to recuperate from their trials. Edward's mind, however, did not seem to recover. Over time, his resentment towards Wizard Kings grew, and he vowed to free the entire astral sea from their curse. He started traveling to other realms to liberate them, leaving devastation in his wake as he condemned and hunted anyone who would support or even tolerate the rule of any Wizard King. Edward's erratic behavior concerned Larissa, his lifelong friend and companion during their journey through the astral sea. But amidst the growing conflict between the Krasura and Commonwealth remnants, Edward increasingly ignored Larissa's pleas, and her influence diminished. Thus, it was shortly after Edward's last departure that Larissa saw no choice but to send out a secret call for aid, for a Godir who could end Edward's march of destruction.
So that's sort of like the backstory. Larissa has asked for help, and you are the help. And so you start off with your particular faction, whichever way it might actually be. It's a bit jerky, actually. It's been very smooth up until now. I'll come through all of the changes in a minute, but I'll just click on OK, and then we'll just go through a lot of their work. So the first one here is to actually meet Larissa. And yeah, we've got other things in through there as well. I won't worry too much about what it actually does do. But there is, so where's Larissa? She's way over here. So this would be sort of where we'd need to then go and access. But so this is a start of like a storyline, multiple, I'm guessing it's multiple, sort of episodic type thing, like with different maps and things as you sort of try to hunt down Edward Portsmouth and using Larissa as one of your other characters. Okay, so Daedalus Dream Journalist saying hello there. Just heard about Empire and Ashes, but not sure what it does add. Yes, we'll go through that. Sorbical saying, I see Age of Wonders 4 is on a midweek deal on Steam. Okay, that's cool. So if you don't have it, then probably now's a good time to grab the game. I'm guessing that's because of the DLC coming out. Jerry saying hi Daz and hi everyone. So hi back Jerry. Unborn is in saying thanks. I was thinking about that time as well. Thanks. I have also been looking for more details on the sea combat stuff in the Golem update, but I haven't seen anything of it yet. Is it just visuals? From what I can see, pretty much yes, it's just visuals with some interest in the actual sea itself. And mine saying awesome, there we are. I do have a save game that I can show you what that looks like, I guess. I've been recording crazily over the last few days, just to so I do actually have like oldish games that I can go back to and go into the water and show you what the actual combat does look like. It's not like, I haven't seen anything fantastic with that, to be honest. So that sort of so that's not really anything too great. Let's just go back out. We'll exit the game. By the way, if you are playing the game, oh damn it! I just exited the whole game. I didn't mean to do that. So just go back in. It should load faster this next time around. I've turned off all the mods except for the cosmetics at this stage, just so we can sort of see what it looks like. So I do have a few little things with like extra colours and stuff like that. So mine is saying, I want to play this so bad. It's very, very cool. The changes that come in the Golem update are also very, very good. I can show you a few little things like this, actually, where I've got some saves that I might be able to just sort of open up. It may be a bit of a spoiler for my YouTube series, but I don't think it'll matter that much. Again, if we go to new game, so that's one that you get. The free the lands of the Manohari, and so that's actually like a story realm. Going through with Larissa and Edward Portsmouth, so they're going to be the sort of the main people that you are, trying to sort of solve in that particular string of stories. You also then have a tier 2 realm, so this is Kayamanda, the Seals of Power. I'll go through what these are because this is a whole new way of playing the game, which is pretty cool. Now that's all there is that was actually added in, so just those two there. The other weird thing about this, when you go and create your own realm, and by weird I mean, I was expecting more, to be honest. If we go to customize the realm, so at this stage we've got continents. Well, one thing we can see is we can see the Astral Sea now comes into some of the maps, but I'm not sure how that is applied, because on the maps that I've been playing I haven't seen that one come in. So I'm not sure how that's working. I'm assuming that something will be added at some point, but I don't see the Astral Sea come in anywhere. It does on that story mode, but not on anything else that I've seen so far. So we've got so there's nothing else in here that is different in the geography trait. In the climb trait, again, nothing that I can sort of notice that's different in here either. So there's no additions for the inhabitants trait. Even in here, I was surprised at this. I don't think, unless they've added it in, there's nothing in here as well. Yet the actual storyline does have it. So I'm thinking that the version I have, when it does become the real version, there may be stuff added into here as well, including in here as well. Like this one here, we've got Dragon's Dawn, the Ashen War, but we don't have anything added in at this stage coming in from the Empire and Ashes. So I was actually thinking, for as far as the customization of playing the realms, there's not a real lot of additional stuff. Where it does come in, there's a few things here when you've got the miscellaneous traits. The first thing it does actually add, and it is part of the actual the DLC, was the world seals. And so these are places that you need to then go and try to capture. And so it's a different way of actually trying to win the game. It allows you to win the game without going too far away from home, if that makes sort of sense. But what's interesting about them is if we go to, where does it show it? Just have a quick look and see. So seals are found throughout the world and can be captured at any time. For each seal you have captured, you gain 1 point each turn. During this time, seal defenders will spawn every few turns at one of your claimed seals and attempt to take back the seal from your control. If you control more seals, they will spawn more often. So you need to defend it, and they're quite strong. The actual units that are there are really quite strong. So you can't afford to just take them and leave a small force. You really have to keep a big force in through there. Hi Eddie, how are you going? Unboard saying I'm waiting to build a pirate style Reaver culture. Yes, that's doable, very doable. I'm not sure, again, the ships, maybe we'll have a look at that because I haven't delved deeply into that one. And Reezy's saying, hey Daz, just finished work and looks like I'm in time for the stream. Yes, it's just starting at this point. So you've got worlds, you've got world seals where you've got like the typical world seal game. You've got a world seal active game, so seals are present, capturing them, but fewer seal points are now required to achieve victory. And the world seals dormant more seal points are required to achieve victory in through here. So it becomes more difficult to sort of get the objective. So you got, like, they're all seals games, but just different ways of playing it. So at the moment, it's about 100 turns that you need to, or 100 points that you need to get a seals victory. And again, it sort of, the countdown is quite nice the way it is sort of handled. So that's pretty cool. In the game I'm playing on YouTube at the moment, I don't actually have any seals myself, but the AI, like most of the AI, have got at least one, but they keep on losing them to the defenders. So again, that's fairly interesting the way that one does actually work. I won't customize the actual realm. That's one thing that's been added in. Lightless, I'm not sure if Lightless was there before. There's a fair few things that are different in through here. I think they're all the same. They're all the same. Then we've got Chaotic Influence and Motivated Truce. These are different ways of actually setting up the game so that you end up with a... so each strategic turn, all rulers gain a stacking negative empire relation modifier with each other. So this is going to then make it sort of very, very aggressive game to play Chaotic Influence. And Motivated Truce is waging war is discouraged on this realm. So grievances are less impactful. So in this case, you sort of go from either playing a more diplomatic game or a more aggressive warlike game. So it's, again, interesting the way that you've sort of got different things that then do work. There's nothing, it's funny because when we go back and have a look back, if I just go back out to the actual game itself
your destination
and hover over these ones, this is why I think there's more coming, because it's got, you've got Lost Jungle, which is not shown anymore. Like that wasn't in that little list of things, so I'm assuming this will be coming. And so this one gives you tropical provinces and forest provinces are common. You've got Birds of Paradise, so avian free cities are common, great birds nests are common. This has to be coming in the mix. It's just not in the version that I've currently got. I've got a preview version of it, and then the Warden in through here. This has also got to be another one that's going to be coming, I would assume, when you actually do go to create realm. So that for me would be something that would be sort of happening back up in through there. Let's just go and choose this one. For my YouTube play, I'm just playing this particular one, so I'll just go and grab this one. This has got world seals, it's got low population, so these free cities are rare, small underground and continents. So I just played that one because it had the seals victory. So if I just go and grab that one as well and just go select, and I won't customize, but that's sort of, you can see there's a few things on the other one that aren't in there just yet. So mine is saying I want to see the new form trait system. Yeah, I'll show you that as well. I'll do that now actually. So Trigon is saying, is there no new realm traits in the other non-miscellaneous options? No, they're all the same. The miscellaneous are all the same list. So the 4 that you have along the bottom are all identical. You just have to choose out of the 4. So for example, if I go to customize realm in through here, we've got the world seals, we've got the low population and the small underground, but if I click on this one through here, I can't choose the world seals because that one's there. They're all the same. There's free cities, or for low population would be mutually exclusive with the one that we've actually got. So these are all just the same. Massive underground is not choosable if you've got small underground, etc., etc. So there's the different things in through there. So there's nothing new gets added to any of these bottom 4. It's only the top 4 change depending on how things actually work, but not the bottom 4. So I'll just go and grab that one. Just go next.
Your journey.
So with the actual faction, let's just go and create a new faction, and I'll just sort of show you how this system now works, which I'm really quite happy with. You can see that Larissa has now come in as an early access, sorry, not early access, EA, Empires and Ashes character, which is interesting. And then we've got these other sort of new ones. But let's just go and create a new faction, a new person. Previously, before the Golem update, you had on the right-hand side, when you chose a human or an elf, whatever else it might actually be, you had a list of traits. You had 2 traits you could choose, a body trait and a mind trait. They're gone. So forget about them for now. I'm really quite happy with this as well, because what this will then mean is that we end up, it's now a point system. If I go and click on this one, we now get traits, just general traits over through the side here. And the way that they work is we have up to 5 trait points. So every faction can have up to 5 trait points. So for example, for the elves, that by default they've got sharp eyes, so they've got +1 vision range and sensing range. They've got arcane focus, which is worth 2 points, and that's a magic attack, deal +15 damage. They also have keen sighted in through here as well, and so 20% accuracy on physical range and magic attacks, and so that's their 5 points. So that's the typical elves will typically have this particular mix. So that's how elves are sort of then come into the game. As you go back down, things, for example, like your mounts, which were always considered to be very, very overpowered, are now basically, these are now worth 3 points. There's a few things through here that are worth 3 points. For example, Hideous Stench, which I never liked this in Age of Wonders 3. But they've brought this one back in now, and if I go to the goblins, the goblinoids, they've only got 2 traits. If we have a look at theirs, they've got Hideous Stench selected. So what this one does, adjacent enemies without this trait suffer -2 resistance and -2 status resistance. And further up, they've got Sneaky as well. So they've only got the 2 traits in through here. But this is very, very cool because there's always, I think one of the biggest complaints that I get from people is that the races don't feel unique enough. But pretty much this is what you're going to get. If you have goblins, you're going to end up with Sneaky and Smelly, basically, as the 2 traits you're likely to get. So anything that you sort of tend to find will tend to be, like this one's athletic, elusive, with desert adaptation. So different things down with the points. You can actually end up with just all 5 of all one side if you wanted to. So you can still override them, but the point system then makes it so that you can't make them too unbalanced, which I think is a really, really good addition. So this actually sort of works quite well. There's also a few other things that have actually now been added in, and I hope that they add more of these battle-focused aspects to them. Like, for example, if we go back up to the avians, which is the new one that we have, so we've got these bird-like creatures, and so they've got 4 traits. They've got 4 low-level traits. And if we have a look at them, they're adaptable, so they get XP comes in faster. They're elusive, so again, they gain +4 defense and resistance against retaliation attacks and opportunity attacks. So these are good to be able to then sort of try to run away from other units. They've got sharp eyes, like what we saw there with the elves, and then they've got a light-footed. Now, this is interesting because light-footed is a combat ability, and so allows for better positioning by being able to move through friendly units. Friendly units do not block movement, and so this has now come in with the Golem update. And so light-footed is one where the actual way that you play the game in combat now changes, because you no longer have to worry about who's in front of you, whereas previously, if you had someone in front of you, you had to walk around them. In this case, you just walk through them. And similarly, the halflings have got the same sort of thing as well. Like they've got, so elusive, we sort of saw there before, again, able to sort of get out of retaliation and opportunity attacks. They're light-footed, so they can move through. They've got quick reflexes, so 25% harder to hit with ranged attacks. For me, that's very thematic. I like the idea of this. So that's, for the halflings, for me, actually are really quite nice. Like I like the idea of those. But if you go back to the way that, things that you could do, actually lizard folk are interesting as well. These have got cold-blooded, which basically means their morale loss doesn't go down very much. They're poisonous. Now, I don't know if this was in here before, but what these ones do is melee attackers have a chance of being poisoned. So +2 blight resistance, and the melee attackers have a 60% chance of becoming poisoned, which is actually a pretty major ability when you think about it. I don't remember that being in there, but now when you come up against lizard men, it's important that you know what race you're dealing with. If you're coming up against lizard men and you use melee attackers, you are likely to actually suffer from poison. If you go up against goblins and you're using melee attackers, or up into the front line, you are going to be losing resistance and status resistance. So you're going to become, so against goblins, or at least with goblin units, you're going to end up finding that your magic users are going to be so much more powerful because of this hideous stench. And so these are little changes that I'm thinking are going to be making the combat so much more interesting. based around the actual races now that we're seeing through here. So these are really, really cool. You can still change things up. Like if we could, if we wanted to get rid of Hideous Stench and then go and, for example, change that with Dire Bear mounts, we could then have goblins that don't have that, but then have the Dire Bear mounts. And so in this case, we've got 3 more points available to us again. This is also coming through the Empires and Ashes. And so a powerful boost to your mounted units. So you get gains the Overwhelmed, you get the Cavalry, and Ruler starts with a Dire Bear mount. So if we just go and grab that one, for example, I'll just confirm that one and just sort of show it. So this one now has got Sneaky and also now the Dire Bear mounts. So the Dire Bear mounts are a super bear that you can end up getting. There are just common bears as well. So maybe I won't save this one, but we'll just keep on going back through. So the only real change is the avians, but the whole way this now works is completely different. So I'm thinking, if you haven't played the game, or if you haven't played for a while because you were worried that it just didn't feel like that the races made much difference, I think they do to a degree now. I think it could still go better, and it's like in this case we've got ferocious, strong, and hardy for the orcs. The humans are a bit of a nothing. XP back in through there. Fast recuperation with extra hit points and defensive tactics, so they're okay. The dwarves are good. I really like them. They just got the defensive tactics back in through there again as well. Tough, so they take less damage, and also hardy, so they start with extra hit points. So there's lots of things like this now where they all do feel like the traits do make sense. I'm just going to turn my air conditioner on. I'll be right back. Just be 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay. Yep, so the new trait systems. Is there no new realm? Yeah, we've done that one. And Dragon Boss was saying, I've got to test out Distant Worlds 2 and Galactic Civilizations 4 at some point. Haven't played any of those franchises yet. Both excellent games. Excellent games. Could they be in the Pantheon as unlocks, the realm modifiers? Good question, actually. Let's go back and have a look, because that is something that that's something I should have actually shown that one while we were actually out here at the Pantheon. So when we go to the Pantheon and look at the rewards, this has now changed. So what we end up having is another section that appears. Where does it appear? I don't know if I think this is new. So we've got the Pirates banner. Things, for example, like this is Relentless Crusaders. We've got Merciless Slavers. Not seeing any map unlocks, but they could be from over here. This is now a whole new section to the Pantheon. Eagle Bow, Staff of Decay. We do see these in the game, which is great. This is really good. The Staff of Decay, like it's a incredible weapon. It can cause an awful lot of trouble because you can't heal against it, which is very interesting, very strong. I'm not sort of seeing anything in there that there was limited stuff in here. Most of the stuff was cosmetic or unlocks for your start, but it's nice to see it in here though. I regret now spending so much just trying to sort of chug on through this particular area, because now there's all these different other unlocks. But I didn't see anything in here. I didn't have a look at everything, but I didn't sort of see much in here with regards to unlocking ways of playing. So I don't think it's in here. I think it just hasn't been added in the version that I've got. I would assume that they would be there, playable for everyone to actually get and go and use. So the Pantheon has now really increased a lot. So that's actually coming back in. So we'll just go back out from that one. So where do we get up to? I'll just see if there's any other questions while we're here. So Chiragon's saying, I meant the top trait ones, nothing new in those. Not that I can see, but I think there will be. I'm using what's called an influencers version, which is like a pre-release version that I'm allowed to show at this point. I'm guessing that the actual release game will have that in it. So yeah, because we can see it there again. If we go to new game and have a look at the story realm in through here, we have Lost Jungle. These things in through here, Bird of Paradise, and that they're all sections that should be back in this top section here. If we just go and have a look, like the climate. Is the climate we didn't see, but that bird one should be in here, and it's not. And the presence trait as well. That sort of that Golem Defender. Actually, the Golem Defender, was it in here? Because it's actually not. Yeah, it's not in here yet. Yet it is actually, because that Golem one should actually be a Golem edition, I think. So there's different things. I'm assuming that there'll be more things coming on at release, I would assume. So we're not seeing it just yet. Okay. People are saying, well, I just had an ad for Neighbours, as in the old TV show. Okay, so I'll just go back up again. Where did we get up to? Sorry, guys, I think I've missed a little bit there. Oh no, I think I'm okay. Yeah, so the traits are more like Planetfall without negative modifiers. There's no negative ones, but again, I'm guessing, look, it's going to be something that they could add in, I guess, at some point. Although that would probably make things a bit too overpowered. So I like the balance of what I've seen. Now, I've been playing it an awful lot over the last few days. I am starting to lose track of what races are where in the fights, and so that's, for me, it's a bit of a problem. So I can see that people will. It goes part way to fixing that problem of the races not feeling important, but it doesn't completely solve it for me. So it'd be interesting just to see what people think, particularly the people who have sort of struggled with the game. With that lack of racial difference, it's sort of it's certainly going a long way towards that, but no, it's not dramatic. Maybe that could be modeled in at some point where it becomes even more impactful. Okay, so now where are we? Need to re-engage. So Mike's saying need to re-engage with the Age of Wonders. Which race would you choose? Pretty much whatever tickles your fancy, to be honest. It's actually, the class is still the more important choice, not so much the actual race. So the traits are more like Planetfall without negative modifiers. So there's no negatives, but it is more like that, where you're just choosing from point system. Michael's saying, so you can make the goblins poisonous with hideous stench. So you can't make them. Yeah, if it's poisonous is 2, hideous stench is 3. Yes, so you can do that one. Can make them, so that would actually be fairly thematic as well. So the poisonous and with stench goblins would work, absolutely. Minion Art's saying that, yeah, you can. Poisonous is 2 points, can't go above 5 though. That's true. Jerry's saying, been looking to go back and playing Age of Wonders 4 Dragon DLC, didn't do it for me. You enjoying the game? Absolutely. But I love the game anyway. I love the Dragon Dawn DLC. I just love the game. So, and I'm mindful of that, because I know that I'm a fanboy, and I've got that fanboy mentality about the game. And so I'm trying to, when I try to look at it, I'm trying to look at it through the eyes of you guys that actually have struggled with it. So I'm trying to sort of think, is this where the problem actually is? And that's why I'm sort of saying that in the combat, if you're not really looking at who you're playing against, you do lose track of the fights. But I have noticed that when I'm playing against the lizard men, it's important for me to know who they are, and it's important for me to know that they're likely to poison my melee fighters. And if I've got weak melee fighters, I've got to keep them out of the fight. So it's things like that are interesting, but. I'm not sure if it goes enough for those of you that have really struggled with the lack of the races. One thing I would think would be really, really interesting would be to have a mod that doubled the impact of all the racial aspects, so that if the stench was gave you -2 status resistance, make it -4 and make it really, really impactful. So that may be interesting to sort of see if that really does change the racial side of things. But as I say, I'm certainly noticing it much more than what I have in the past. But in the big battles, I tend to forget about it, which is, I'm thinking, where people are losing interest with the game. Where are we up to? So, hi Connie, how you going? Hi Battle Mode. Supercool saying I finished my first game of Galaxy 4 over the weekend. It's great, but it needs more work. I think it's still too much micromanagement and grindy towards the late game. Yeah, I saw your comment there, Supercool, in the Discord. I was interested to know how big the map was that you actually ended up playing, because I can see what you're saying. I understand it. I didn't feel that because I played in a small galaxy, but I can see that being in a big galaxy that could certainly be the case. Grimdark is saying, well, shoot, I was hoping I would like that Jungle Realm modifier. I'm sure it's going to be there. Like I'm about 95% sure, and I think it's just that the version I'm playing just doesn't have it in it. The way that they work out the versions, by the way, when any of these companies are putting these together, sometimes you end up with a beta version of the game that the beta testers are playing, and so what happens with those is you are playing with all of the stuff that they're testing and all that sort of stuff. But when you have like something that says influences, what they've done is they've put together a stable beta version, could be weeks old, we don't know, and then release that to like the YouTubers and stuff like that. So they're the versions that I get. So I'm not even sure what the beta testers have got. I'm assuming that they've got more stuff than what I've got, but it's that's why there will be certain things missing. It may have been that wasn't actually added in when this particular version was done, and they just haven't thought about it. But the base game will be different again. So, but it's great to be able to sort of see what a lot of the changes actually are. Hi CB, how you going? So we're saying I did leave my thoughts about Galaxy on Discord. Yes, I read those. I did respond actually because as I said, I was interested about the size that you're actually playing with that one. So Trigon saying right tree is all cosmetic. The left one on the right, on the right side is the new stuff and has 2 new society traits and 3 new starter weapon kits. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look and see. There are different weapons over through here. Yeah, this is all cosmetic, isn't it? But there's no traits, there's no start traits. That's a different way of playing. So Relentless Crusades and also the Merciless Slavers. They're the only 2 I saw there that actually impacted the way that you could play the game, as in when you set up your faction. But I didn't see anything other than just armor, like different items and things. Anyway, we'll leave that one where that is. And continue on. Oh, okay, Supercool saying did reply in Discord. Okay, it was a medium-sized galaxy with 12 factions and 4 sectors. Okay, so that would be fairly big. That's actually fairly big. But it's interesting, I think, because the game can be so broad. This is Galaxy of... yeah, Battle Mode saying I also finished my first Galaxy 4 game over the weekend, completed a medium several sector game in about 9 hours. That's pretty fast. Where is it? Grindy late game in a 4X game seems pretty common still, sadly, says Dragon Wasp. Yeah, I like games to race away from you once you start to lose badly. It's one of those things where I prefer to lose quickly if I'm losing, or win quickly if I'm winning. Not many games tries to put in systems to simplify later game. Yes, developers always talk about it. They're always aware of it, and they always try to, and particularly Stardock. I know that like Brad Wardell, he's spoken about that forward, like it feels like decades, with the different games as to how to stop having that grind in the back end of the game. So I'm assuming that will be looked at if it is grinding. Trigon saying from the pictures, devs have shown the Paragon stuff looks complete. Have shown the Paragon stuff looks complete in this version. Okay, that's interesting. Also, yeah, there we go. So Dragon Wasp saying on the Age of Wonders race topic, I do like when the races feel like they have an identity and a theme feel. Making custom races often feels like it's mechanical function over thematic feel. Yeah, and I think that would be another thing where, like, it would be cool if the tier 3 units, for example, or some of the tier 2 units were actually unique to the race. That would be cool as well. That for me would actually make it feel better than from the tomes. Almost get rid of the tome stuff and actually just have that as a racial addition. You do get the buff from the race, but you don't get the uniqueness from the race. Yeah, I can see that being a very, very real aspect. Okay, so Battlemage saying only bit that dragged on was right at the end for about that last half hour, mopping up the last of the AI. Yeah. So and saying AoW4 changes looks interesting. Yeah, there's a lot going there. Sorry, you meant Age of Wonders 4. Yeah, the changes are good in Age of Wonders 4. I like that. I like where they're going. It's still not fully there for those of you that are wanting to have that racial aspect to it, and I can understand that. Dragon was saying, unless it's a game like Solaris, it offers crazy amount of options to making a custom population. Yeah, so we've got Silvercall saying, yeah, did reply. Dusty Monk saying, I don't recall if you covered Stranded, Alien Dawn, which has its first DLC coming out tomorrow. Actually, no, I haven't, actually. I haven't. These are sorts of things, if they're in my Discord list, I can then sort of make sure I have a look at them, but otherwise I forget about them. Yeah, I can't even remember it. So Silvercall saying, cultural victory, to be honest, until I forced matters again with the Against the Tide galactic achievement, not a lot was happening. It is slow. It's a slow build-up with AoW4. I wish that there was a faster way to get started and get into the action. Battleman saying, love the music in Age of Wonders 4. Overall, the presentation is it's top-notch. It is good. Silvercall then saying, this and I now have Battlemade's voice permanently narrating my voice. Apparently, my universe is filled with unopened cargo pods. Okay, so then we've got just read through those. Just stop. I won't. If you guys are talking with each other, I'll just skip past those. Okay, Michael's saying maybe putting in more units for each race would help. More war machines for dwarves, more bombers. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. That would actually change things up a lot. To even just get a couple of units, like tier 3 units, would be for each race would be great. Maybe sort of get rid of a few of the. Or even giving like some of the actual tome tier 3 units straight away, like that would I don't know. With it's all food for thought. But I do hear what you guys are saying when you say that you are disappointed with the lack of the way the races play in the game. Anyway, let's just go back in. We'll just go and create a new game,
your destination.
and we'll just play this Seals of Power one. So we'll just go and select it. Let's go next.
Your journey starts.
So we'll create a new faction. Excuse me. So now the Avians are the new race. In reality, because of what we're talking about there, it really just comes down to what traits you actually want. So there was a question there before about which race should you play when you first start playing. It really doesn't matter much, to be honest. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. It's just a matter of playing whichever way. Things like Feline, which have got desert adaptation, I wouldn't worry too much about playing these. They can be fairly limiting. Malkin, which will have underground adaptation, can be useful in the sense that you get to sort of start underground and can control the underground, but then you are not as strong when you can go above ground. I mean, the moles are quite good. The toads have got swamp adaptation. This is new as well. There's different terrain in the game now, a little bit of different terrain. So swamp walk is moving through swamps costs 6 movement points instead of 8. You've got river walk as well. So things like this. So there's these sorts of things that are the Ratkins. What have they got? They've got overwhelm tactics, quick reflexes, and adaptable. So yeah, it's one of these things. I mean, if the Avians, maybe I'll show the Avians simply because everyone will be doing this one. So I sort of was avoiding trying to show the Avians because, like as I say, that every single Let's Play is going to be Avian Reavers. And sure enough, that was the first thing I did build. I will build this one though. So the racial traits come into it. We'll just select the actual Avians.
What is their origin culture?
So when you come back through, there's a new one here called Reaver, a new class, or new. So this is the culture. And so a society of industrial opportunists, pragmatic and brutal. They combine the material and the arcane, expanding their dominion through conquests and hunts. And so these are like your conquistadors. And so when you do go and click on a Reaver, you'll see like the different factions. Feudal is a good baseline where you've got like a bit of everything that you need. You've got shield units, you've got range units, you've got polearm units coming back, you've got sort of charging units that are mounted, you've got scouts, and then you've also got like support units back in through there as well. The high level will then sort of have, I think mages will then sort of be something a bit different through there, but you still got your shields and your archers. Where the Reavers, and I think it's always good to have a look at these different classes that you actually end up having. The Reavers have got like a different mix, and so what they actually have is their tier 1 units are these skirmishers that throw nets, and these guys at the back through here, which are the polearms. Now, the Reaver polearm units are stronger than tier 1 units, but they are tier 1, but they cost more to actually, and I'll show you that when we get into the actual game itself. On tier 2, you then end up having these matchlock units, which every single time they fire, they do incredible damage, but it takes 3 actions, so they can't be moved, or they can't be basically, they've got to have all their actions to be able to then fire their gun. So these are difficult to use effectively. You've almost got to get into a defensive position and then use them, and then they become extremely powerful. So this is a really interesting class or culture, for the simple reason that you've got like a maneuverable, sort of semi-maneuverable skirmisher unit, which is not super strong. You've got a very defensive polearm unit that actually has a special ability, and that special ability is to push other units back, so it can push the battlefield back away. The matchlocks can't move. The matchlock cannons also, this is your tier 3, one of your tier 3 units, also can't move. So, and it does damage where it fires every turn and does damage in a 3-line area. So like the cannons from other Age of Wonders games have, and some of the bigger weaponry hasn't had the maneuverability to be, or the ability, you had to go and load them in between. And same with the actual matchlocks in the other, I think they're called mage locks in this case, but you don't, it's just every single turn you can fire as long as you don't move. If you do move, they have a special ability to then mark a unit and make it so it's easier for everyone else to attack them. So it's still useful to move them, but you've got to be careful. You've got to think about it. The tier 2 unit in through here is the Overseer at the back. This is an amazingly good unit, I've got to say. I don't tend to like the support units as support units, but when you combine this unit with a skirmisher, the skirmisher has got a net, and so when the net is thrown, you can immobilize a unit, and when the unit is immobilized, it's only immobilized for 1 turn. When it's immobilized, you've then got the Overseer who can come in and try to subdue that unit. And as long as the Overseer lives for the whole game, and it can only do it with 1 unit, but it can basically subdue a unit and keep it immobilized and keep it sort of buttoned up in the net for the whole game. And so they can still go off and use their magic castings and so on and so forth, even though they've got 1 unit subdued. But it's a really interesting mix, because what then also happens with the Reavers have got, and I don't know if it's showing through there, they've got another mechanic called War Spoils. And so War Spoils are a unique resource gathered by the Reavers through conquest and battle with empires and free cities. They can be used to intimidate and extort free cities and other empires. But the other thing that you've got, and I don't know if it'll show it in using War Spoils in through here, so down the bottom there, it says War Spoils can be used to gain permanent control over subdued units after combat. And so what happens is, if you've got this combo of the tier 1 and the tier 2 units working together to subdue, to immobilize first and then subdue, what that will then do is you can then use your War Spoils which is unique for the Reavers, to then go and actually pay that to then go and capture that unit. So you can choose which units you want to, like, instead of the mind control stuff that we used to have, this is now something that's quite different. So it actually now has an aspect where it's immobilization, then subduing it, and then basically seeing if you want to then keep it at the end of the battle. It'll also, when you do get to subdue a unit, it then stops fighting for the rest of that battle as well. So it's very, very strong combination. The other really, really interesting unit is the unit behind here as well. This is the, I forget what they're called, but this is another skirmisher unit, but it's a tier 3. So your tier 3s are the cannon and this particular unit here. These have got matchlock pistols, and they've also got like a sword. And so these are units that can they can bypass. They're very, very quick. They can bypass zones of control, so they can just sort of zip in wherever they need to go. As long as they're not in zone of control for anyone else, they can then use their matchlock pistol, or they can come in and do like up to three actions of attacking with the swords. But after they attack, whichever way they do it, they then get to use half their action points to then move somewhere else in the battlefield. They don't get to at the end of that. They are basically as if they had an action, so they don't get to guard themselves. But so you've got to be careful that when you run away, that you do turn your facing towards the enemy. Otherwise, you're going to be getting flank attacks all the time. But sorry, the music's too loud. Sorry, guys. I had moved it up. There we go. Hopefully that should be about right. Sorry, Blast Pop. Where did we get up to? We don't have that much more. So Jerry's just saying, yeah, it seems that they only change names of the units, but they have almost identical feature stats. No. The actual, not for the, you mean for the Reavers? No, they've still got the same basic types. Like that's still a range unit. This is still a polearm unit. This is still just a skirmisher. That's still just a skirmisher, and that's just a support unit. And the cannon, I think, is another range unit. I think is how they sort of aspect. But they've got very, very unique ways of playing, but not racially, just through the actual Reavers itself. So I'm not sure if that's what you were meaning there, Jerry. Michael's saying, Jerry, yeah, if you take that in fact that the music and the sewing race skills can be chosen by any race, kind of makes them feel a lot alike. Yeah, I can see that being a concern, except that you then combine it with the racial aspects. So, for example, with the avians, because they get to move through their front line, these guys here, even though they're tier 1, are very, very good frontline troops, and they can push units back. But what happens with the fleet-footedness is we can actually now still have front lines and still move through. So the avians would be much more mobile than for example the humans or the orcs. If you had orc reavers, it'd be more about the strength, and so these sort of units in here would be much more powerful because of what they can then go and do. If you were using if you have elven reavers, then suddenly the matchlocks would become so much more powerful. Except that we don't actually have any real good magic users unless we actually sort of get them through tomes. So it's an interesting game, like very, very interesting addition. It works well. You've got a scout here as well. That's their scout unit, which doesn't have any combat abilities whatsoever. If this is the last unit left in a battle, by the way, it's basically end of battle. You lose it immediately. Michael's saying you have to say the game looks great though. Yeah, it's interesting, and I've enjoyed playing the Reavers because they have a few different other aspects to them. And so units specialise in focusing down marked targets with focused aggression. You have one less Whispering Stone, so you start the game without a Whispering Stone, which means that you can't really make friends with other factions, but you don't want to because you've got this war spoils aspect where if you attack free city units, you end up getting war spoils. So you don't get it from just normal things. You have to do that against free cities or empires. Total war means that you can also, there's no Imperium penalty for starting a war without war justification. So you can be as aggressive as you like playing as the Reavers. It's very, very cool the way it does work. Let's just select that one. So there's nothing. Is there anything new in here? Talented collectors. These are. I think there are a few. Some of these will probably be from the Golem update. So these are fascinated by rare materials and spend large parts of their lives collecting and subduing them. Cities gain all sorts of different stuff. Yeah, per material. Materials now are really, really interesting, I've got to say. Let's just go and grab that as an example. And what else is there? That's a nature one. Perfectionist art. This was unlocked. That's not going to be a new... Actually, this looks like it's unlocked as well. Yeah, maybe these aren't new. I thought there was Reclaimers. Yeah, here we go. This is new. So Reclaimers, so that they believe anything can be reforged into something better. But before that can be done, it must be reclaimed. So gain binding essence for clearing infestation, spawners, clearing ancient wonders, raising cities and pillaging provinces. And so this is really interesting as well. The binding essence is how you now make your magical equipment. There's still too much magical equipment in the game, but you can build your own. I might open up a save game to show you that aspect, because we need to... Now, do they come in with 200? Yeah, they start with 200 on that one through there. That's quite a good one if you're wanting to sort of play with that. If we just go for each magical material in their domain, I'll leave it like that just for the sake of it. So we'll just go to select. Then you've got a few new tomes through the actual game itself. So the Tome of Alchemy is a new one. I don't particularly like this one. This is much more to do with the miasma and this sort of the blight and sort of stench. So for me, I still prefer to go to some of the other ones, like Seeker Arrows or something. If I just select that one. I'll just select that one. We'll just go with the champion so we can just build an avian bird. So this is the, I'll show you the customization of the actual body type. So you've got, if I just sort of zoom in a little bit, you've got the male and then the female. Not that it makes much difference with these. I'll just get rid of the helmet, just so you can sort of see everything from here. Get rid of the cape. So the outfit will just be basic. So when we go back through, so that's the male, that's the female. Back and through that other side, so you can sort of see the differences in through there. The physique then goes from sort of like thin to thick. Just go light there, I guess. Arm length as well. These have got longer arms than most other groups, and again, just the actual length of the legs. The skin color, again, it's going to be sort of fairly much all over the place because of being birds. Skin decorations, again, I'll just get rid of some of these, but there's a whole range of different sorts of things with the birds. There's heaps of them actually, just with the way that they sort of end up looking. So there's a lot of changes there. The pose, I'll just go back to the original one. Now this is another one that does come through with the Reavers. You've got like a matchlock and a sword, where you've got like the other sorts of mounts in behind you. The head, again, we've got different sorts of different sorts of avian features, which are quite different, like a parrot, bigger parrot, some sort of bird of prey. I don't know what sort of bird that is, no idea. More of an eagle, but it looks good. Some sort of buzzard or something. That's more eagle-like, isn't it? So anyway, that's the different sorts of looks with them. Then you've got your different mohawks up through there as well. Different plumages. It's not a hell of a lot of them, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the eyebrows. The different bird-like sort of features in through there. So it's pretty cool the way it sort of does work. And then of course you've got the different sorts of outfits that you've then got as well. So that would be sort of the way it would sort of then work. And then the helmets, you could then sort of place different helmets on there. There's your pirate. There's your pirate helmet. So anyway, that's like that would be sort of how we'd then go and do it. If we go back to the actual race itself as well, at the moment we can't zoom in on these, but they've got the same sort of deal with the heads. Like if we go back to a more of a bird of prey type sort of thing, the skin decoration. Let's go with more red, and then the mount types. This is new as well. We now actually have bears, so you can actually have bears as your mount, and so so this is actually now come in, but this is not dire bears. This is just a normal bear. What else is there? Yeah, physique. I'll just leave all those in there. That'll be fine. Oh, this is new as well, like when you go back up into here. Now, some of these are modded in, but these are now separated out, so you can actually go and get your icons depending on what you sort of are looking for there. So, you know, if you wanted to go with a Talon, for example, something like this, we can just go to the nature affinities and sort of see how they actually sort of then work. So these make it a little bit easier. We do have a few extras that have now come back in this other side. I'll just grab that one there. It's a feather, I think. So we'll select that one. And Empress Yelenvira Decker of the Volant Engineers, that'll do. So we'll just go onwards. But that's sort of that's the creation through there. And then it comes through. Now, a few of the other things that have now changed as well. When we come back in, so we've got suppressing barge and the summon the copper golem. So we get one from there's a factional book, and then there's the book that we selected. So we pick up those two. So the things that are now different in the game in here are because we're playing the Reavers, we've got war spoils. We do start off with 40 per turn, back up through there. The other thing we end up different is back over through here, which is your item forge. And so the item forge is where you can then go and choose a different item. So you can actually sort of go and start to build different items. And they do different things as well. Like if I, for example, go back to like a magical orb and click on that one through there, whatever I've got sort of unlocked or available, it will then, this is going to be a lightning orbs, will then come through, and it's got the quick stab. So this is pretty much exactly the same as a normal lightning orb, but we can then start to add in infusions. So in this case, we've got like 10% critical hit chance, animal slayer, inflict bleeding. So these are just the basic infusions. Now, each one of these is exactly the same, but I can have up to 5 points of infusion. Now, 1 point is going to come from the actual damage that it does. If I go back and grab something different, like for example a shield, it won't have any actual damage or ability infusions. They don't come in, but and then we just have a few other little things that then do come through, like +5 hit points. That's now 1 at 50. Grab another one, might be +1 defense, for example. So we end up with a basic defense, and we can change the name of these if we wanted to. But this is now how we build it, and it's going to take 2 turns to then go and build this one. This is only for the heroes, of course, but it's quite nice the way this one does actually work. Now, beyond that, what I might do is I might just go in and load in one of my other games. By the way, always surrender. Just get in the habit of surrendering. Just so that you do get your Pantheon points if you have done anything at all useful. We'll just get out of there. If I load in a game, I'll load in... where did I get up to? I'll just go back to a mid-ish level save, so around here somewhere. I'm trying to think of other things I should show, but I'll just show you the building. I don't think I was building anything at this stage, but I had acquired a lot of the points. So in this case, don't worry about what we're looking at through here. Oh, this is where, see, I've only got 20 war spoils in through this other side as an example. And then I've got these guys which have come, these are invaders from a place called Palisade, which is over here. So they've invaded. Now, if I take them on with my Reaver army, I'm using Dwarven Reavers in this case. So I've got Dwarven Reavers back in through here. If I take them out, in fact, can I do that straight away? Yeah, I can. So they'll actually come in and do it. I'll just do this, and so you can sort of see the difference. When we attack it now, I'll do an auto battle. We do actually have a couple of the Overseer units, and we've got a couple of the Harrier units as well. So this is where we can. There's a good chance that we're going to capture some of these units. So we'll just go and do an auto combat. Okay, we didn't lose anything. That's good. Yeah, see how we captured these 2 units. So these 2 came through, but we also did. We collected 40 of the war spoils. Now the war spoils work where every single tier 1 unit is 5 points, so that's 15, and then we end up with, for every level of a hero, it's 5 points per level. So we end up with 25 plus 15 gives us the 40. The 2 that we captured don't count. And so in this case, we would then just go and close this particular one, and we then get the after battle recruitment. And so I've now got 60 points. I can't get both. So I can't get the Steel Shaper and the Halberdier, or I can just go and dismiss all of them if I wanted to and just kill them off. But I can recruit them because they were subdued in battle. So if I go to the Halberdier, for example, and say, okay, look, I'm going to keep you. I've got 60 now. We'll keep you. We're back down to 20 again. And there's the Halberdier. He's now joined that particular little group. So that's sort of how the war spoils work in a nutshell. So that's pretty cool the way that one does work. Other things that we got, there's the Seals of Power. So these are protected by fairly strong forces, as you can sort of see through there, like 1200 strength, tier 5s, tier 4s, a heap of other stuff as well. So the seals are interesting. At this point in the game, nobody has started getting seals. So this is sort of a little way in, but not too far in. I don't think they have. Yeah, no, I would have had it. I've got it. I've coded it to sort of show it from the other side there. In fact, if we go to quests, so this is a seals victory back in through there. If I go and have a look at this one, actually, yeah, there is actually somebody that's got 105 turns to get there. If we just go and track that one, we can then have it tracked, which means that they're then going to show on the side here. Yeah, so there is somebody who's getting +1 per turn, but they don't have any points yet. So this is just the start of somebody getting the first seal. So that's sort of what comes in with a seal victory. So the 105 points is what they require, which is fine. We've got seals nearby as well. We've got 2 seals up through here as well, very, very close to our territory. And what else was there? The item forge. I wanted to show you the item forge. In my area, I do control things like, for example, like the Astral Dew. And these now become really, really important. I only control 1 Astral Dew and 1 of the haste berries. So that's all I've actually got. If I now go back into that same thing, and we go back and just, for example, just do what we did before with the magical orb. So it comes back into here, where we've got the lightning damage in through this other side. When I go and click on the passive infusions to add to it, we have more than just the 3 that we saw. So, for example, we have Frenzy. So when this unit lands a base attack, it gains a stack of Strengthened. So, and this comes from the haste berries. So we've got things now that the actual berries themselves add to it. So the berry, like each actual magical resource now is much, much more important. Like, for example, Archon Blood gives you frost damage, frost resistance, extra hit points, and necromancy type what are they called? Infusions. So this one here is from Astral Dew, like it inflicts sundered resistance. Status vulnerability is Astral Dew. Haste berries in through there. Bleeding is just a base one. Animal Slayer is a base one. Frenzy is haste berries, and then that one's just a base one as well. So you can sort of just mix and match these up, like, grab Frenzy, grab Sundered Resistance. So we're up to 240 points. We've got 500 in this case. I've got one more I can do. This is an item tier 3 at this stage, and Inflict Distracted would be a good one as well. This one's going to cost me 325 of the Binding Essence and 4 turns to then go and build. So that's how it actually works. It's very, very cool, depending on what you end up getting through here as well. So there we go. Yeah, bears are confirmed. Yes, there's bears and dire bears. So you got the two different types. Where did we get up to? You start saying eagle, eagle. Yeah, it's every bird an eagle to your dads. It is indeed. Okay, hi Cecil, how are you going? Steve Rudolph saying surfing bird. There we go. Michaelson saying, but you could also make another race reavers, reclaimers. So anything unique about the race? Yes, we covered that before with the differences. So, for example, if you use the avians, they're going to be able to walk through their units, so they will fight differently with each race, even within the class. So it doesn't go as far as what some of you will be wanting, but for me, it still makes it a bit more unique. For example, the one I'm playing at the moment is the dwarves. I wanted to play something that wasn't just an avian faction. The dwarves have an ability where if they're next to other dwarves, they get a special defense mechanism. So for me, it's much more important to get the dwarven pole arms and things. Like if we go and have a look in through here, I wanted to get a lot of these mercenary pole arm units, so we can sort of start to use them. They're only tier 1, so they're called mercenaries, but they're just the pole arm units that we end up having. But as a front line for the dwarves, they're quite good. They're not as good for the avians, for example, because they don't have that defensive ability. But they're because they're lighter, that their units can move through them. So it's still that probably doesn't go far enough for a lot of people in terms of the races. But overall, it's very, very cool. Saying, I guess giveaway, I'm just bragging. I'd like to be entered. I'll be in and out for work for next hour. Okay, I'll try to remember. There's no giveaway today, unfortunately. Jenna is saying, hey Daz, how good of an item can you craft? Worse, as good or better than the RNG drops? Can you replace RNG drops, or are they uniques? Yes, you can. Basically, like if we go back to our actual arsenal, that's the other thing too. Actually, if we have a look at the arsenal that we actually have. We can now, like, you no longer get cash and mana. You now get the requisition points or binding essence. So you actually now, when you destroy these, you get binding essence from them. So, for example, Staff of Decay. If we go and have a look at what this one does, it's got a bleeding attack and it's got a decaying attack. Now, the decaying attack, I don't know which one of these this would come from. I don't think it could be Archon Blood. It's the one that's going to give Rainbow Clover, it's Spirit Resistance. They all do, actually this would be here, it would be Silver Tongue Fruit, potentially would be the decaying, that would be like a high level one. So this is a tier 2 primary weapon with the Death Blast. So it's sort of, so if I went to try to make one of those, I don't actually have that one there. Let's see if we've got something else in the arsenal that would be the Robe of Resistance is only tier 2. We get resistance and status resistance there. Now, I don't think either of these ones do that one. This one gives, actually this one does give you resistance. Let's try to do it with Astral Dew to get a Robe of Resistance. So to build that particular one, I could go back into here and go to the robe that looks like that. Doesn't matter about the look of it. Like if I go and change it to a different robe, it won't really matter, but it can be any old thing. And then if we just go back in through there, we've got resistance. So resistance was, now that was just normal, and then we've got status resistance back in through here. And so that then becomes still only a tier 1 item for 110 points. Was there better ones? Yeah, that one, like, so you can keep on adding them in. That one there comes from the Astral Dew. The other ones are all just fairly unique. Is that all that this one does? I thought it did +2 actually, the other cloak. But anyway, that's sort of how you then go and build, if you wanted to build that sort of thing. But I mean, I've been saving up the points, to be honest. So that's sort of what I've been doing. But it's good. It's a good system. Like you can sort of then start to really get exactly what you need. If you need a helmet, for example, and you think, okay, I really need to get, I haven't found any helmets, I need to get something, then you just go down and sort of build the helmets. But they are going to show, they're going to be quite unique with the different things that they then go and do. So again, we've got Astral Dew. Helmets won't do much in terms of using the haste berries, but you get lightning resistance, accuracy, whatever you wanted to do in here. Basically, hit points. I think that's 4 or 5, and defense basically. So that becomes quite a strong helmet, as an example, a tier 4 helmet. And again, you can just change the Thunder Warding helmet. It'll do random names as well. So it's quite cool the way it does actually then go and work. Let's just close that one. What else was there with that? Sorry, if I just go back in, if I look at, say, the leggings, and then have a look, a lot of these will then be to do with the haste berries. So Swift is a haste berry. Slip Away is Astral Dew. thought there'd be more Hasteberry stuff. Oh, there's an Astral Dew there as well. So they really do, depending on the item and then the combination that you end up having of the different resources, they make such a big difference. They're so important now when you start to get into this phase of the game, into the middle of the game. So it's certainly adding a lot to the game. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water. I'll be right back. Michael's saying that like the look of the item forge. That could also be made specific to each race, to what kind of items they could make. Hopefully at some point in the future they do really focus on the racial aspect. I'm not sure what their plans are. I've certainly given the feedback that you guys have given me. So please keep on giving me feedback. Like if you go into my Discord and just go to the Age of Wonders 4 section, just any thoughts? I do pass these things on to the developers. They often won't respond back to them, but they do see them. So it is something that they're certainly aware of. They haven't addressed it. I don't know what their thoughts are, but it's important that they sort of get the information from you guys. What else? Sizzle saying we do like seals, makes great water attackers. There we go. Dwayne Clark is saying sorry late to the party. Does anyone know if the save games are compatible with the free update that goes with the DLC? I'm not sure. I would assume so. But I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I could try opening one up and see what actually happens. But my old games, if I just go back into one of my really old games, just go to this one here, which is way back from October. So that was from a month ago. I'll just go and play. Just go and grab this one here as an example. All right, so producer warning. So you're currently using mods different. That's okay. Maybe become unstable. So it's mainly just saying about mods. I'll just go yes, okay. Yeah, so nothing at all to do with this is all just mod stuff. We'll just see if it opens. Nope. Don't send. I won't send that one. So I think that was a mod problem. Maybe I'll see if I've got something that's even older. See if we can go back even further. Just go and play. I'll try to go. I'll see if I've got any save games from way back. Yeah, what's the highest tier you can craft? I think tier 4, because I think you've got 5 points, but I think it goes up to tier 4. Can you craft items with stuff like rebirth or blink or stun, depending on the materials that you get? So I'm thinking that you would be able to and it may be that you need combination of materials. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that requires combos, but that would be like to get a stun, something that does stun damage. I would think that would definitely be doable, but it may require 2 of the resources, which would be pretty cool if that was the case. Let's just load in a really old game. What was this from? This is from May. I don't know if I've got a. Just go into this one. Just load her in. Now this is cosmetic. I think this one may be okay. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, so that opened up. This is a game from May, and it looks like it's fine. So so that one's okay. So I would say it should be fairly stable, I guess. Actually, I think this one is just one of the story games. But anyway, so that one does actually sort of work through there. I'll just exit that game. What other questions do we have? I'll just get it opened up again. So how do you raise the tier? You basically just keep on adding more infusions to whatever you're crafting. Can you create blueprints for items or multiple at once? No, just one at a time, and they don't take all that long to build. Grimdark is saying, I don't know what you guys expect in regards to races. It's not that like they are going to tear the whole system out and make it like Planetfall or Endless Legend. Jerry's saying, I think that they could slowly start implementing different units to mend or rework the whole system. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it just, even if they just gave one tier 3 unit, one racial or a couple of racial units would be enough. Just add them in, throw them in, like where you've got like something, because that would make it then feel unique. And if you had like a special unit from whichever race you're playing, I think that would be pretty cool to sort of get that. They may already have too many units for it to really work properly, but it could be done with rebalance, or they change the traits to make them more impactful. Let's just go and play. So Thomas is saying this new DLC is so great. Everything we're looking at is a combination of the DLC and the free update. So, for example, those building the like using that binding essence to then go and build things is a Golem update. It's not part of the. It's not, you don't have to pay to get that one. So if we just load that one, I'll just load back where I was. It's sort of where I was playing. If I just go I'll just go back to one of the earlier. Yeah, actually, I'll go into. God, when was it? I was attacking pirates at one point. I think it may be this one, because you wanted to have a look and see what the battles on the ocean look like. So so that was where we were before. Now, yeah, this is one I've just cleaned out a pirate area there. Let's have a look at this. Is actually a Skywatch is a place that's on the ocean, and I don't know if I can build. Yeah, it's still very, very low level before we can actually then go and build in there. If we go into F1 and have a look and see what the actual different units are. I'll go all cultures, and we'll just have a look and see if we can find any ships. Yeah, so the Dragoon is the shock, not the shock. It's the charge in and sort of fire weapon that we actually then have. Halberdier, Harrier. Yep, that's the level 1 for the Reavers. There's the Magelock cannons, Magelock mercenary. These are great. These are like, as a tier 1 unit, they cost more, but they do have this. They have a drive back ability where they can actually sort of then drive units back and like push them back. So it's sort of which is it's actually quite useful. Like, it's very, very interesting to see that one. I mean, for all sorts of reasons. It could be that you're actually getting behind them with the units and push them in towards your Magelocks, your Magelock sort of fighters here that have got like the heavy Magelock has got like all 3 action points. It's got extra range at 5 range, but they're not very accurate at 5. So even pushing them towards it so that you end up getting the better accuracy would be good, but the damage is incredible. Like, they do amazing damage. What else was there? Overseers. It's funny, I'm not seeing any actual ships there. Look through here. There's the new bears. There should be new. There's copper golems, but we should have other ones. There's the dire bear. So this one is got melee strike, swipe, demolisher, overwhelm. Yes, it does a lot of damage. A lot in the game, isn't there? A lot of stuff. There's a ghost ship, tier 5. Not sure how these come into the game. Wow, that's got a lot of stuff. Demolisher. Just see if I can find more ships. Let's go back down again. What was the symbol for the ghost ship? Okay, so it's going to be an unusual one. Oh, there's the golden golem. Now, this was here before. So we had these before. Herald of War. So this is actually, I don't know where this one comes from. This is, again, Empires and Ashes. A mythic unit. I don't know where this one comes in. I haven't seen this one yet. So I'm not sure which, maybe it might be one of the, from one of the other tomes or something. Oh, ironclad. Here we go. This is actually not an ocean going one. So there's an ironclad. Again, not sure where these come in. But it's yeah, certainly dreadnoughty, isn't it? It's got direct fire and barrage. It's only one action, so it can move and fire. It's got a cooldown of 1, that one. Yeah, this is cool stuff. Lost Wizard. Yeah, I think we've seen them before. There's the Mage Lock Cannon, the tier 3 for the this, yeah, so this can also be just wildlife type stuff. Obsidian Dragons, Wyverns, yep, that's okay. We've seen them before. Polar Bears. Oh, this is the new protective golem. Okay, this is actually Empires and Ashes. Yes, this is actually a special golem, which has got like a lightning bolts and things. Reapers, Rock Giants, Roving Furnace. Again, haven't seen that one. I don't know where that one's coming from. The Scrap Hermit, so some sort of hermit crab. There's Severing Golem as well. I haven't seen this one in the game yet, but this one's only that's a tier 5. What else is there? There's heaps. I don't see many ships though. And I didn't see when I was doing the combat. It was more just the terrain that it was in was actually more interesting. Let's just go back. What else is there? That's the spells. Oh no, this is actually maybe in this slot. See, an Afflictor, which has come through. That's the one that comes from one of the tomes. Baylor, yeah, it's just the that one there. Yeah, we're not seeing actual ships. It's funny. I thought there was. Just do ships. Nope. What else would it be? Not underwater. This is concepts. What else do we have? That's just buildings. The different sorts of amulets and things. Yeah, I'm not sure with this one. So I don't remember seeing anything about the ships, but there's there's nothing else in there really. Yeah, okay. Let's again, that's fairly interesting. But yeah, these special ones that do come in. Yeah, sort of. I thought there may be something in there. Okay, where do we go up to? So Jerry's saying, Daz, how are you enjoying the Shadow Empire series? What's next after the Gulf Civ 4 on the menu? Well, it will be. It's going to be Age of Wonders 4. I'm already a long way into the recordings. Again, if you guys are watching and you do want to get ahead of the recordings on pretty much from this point forward, I can now. It's only just come in with YouTube, but I can actually now make. I can schedule whenever I schedule a like for example, this is what I've got recorded so far for Age of Wonders 4. So so these are, I can set these up for members only, so that while I'm waiting for them to come live, like in the normal schedule, members can get access to these things. So there is actually like a members only videos, basically, which YouTube's only just allowed me to put that one in. So there is, this is what's actually coming up. I don't know if I think I was going to release this one today or tomorrow or something. So Tales and Tactics, but you can see there sort of like Shadow Empire. I've got another one of them coming up. Gale Civ, for example, and then Age of Wonders. So as I schedule the videos in, I'll be scheduling them now in for members early access. And so if you are a member, you can just sort of go in and have a look at you can look at those before the game is actually released. So that's something that can certainly be done. I'll just get back to the game again. So for me, it's the first time there's been a really tangible benefit to actually be a member of a channel like that, and particularly for a channel like mine where I can actually, I tend to record a lot and then upload a lot in one go. So it will sort of range, like this is probably about as most that I'm going to have out in advance. So it's usually going to be around about for like 5 or 6 videos ahead. Quite often when I'm doing a series, I'll try to upload maybe sort of like 10 videos at a time, and then sort of schedule them and let them run down a little bit, then put another batch of them up. So I tend to batch process a lot of stuff. So that's why having these member-only videos actually really works well for me, because it's ideal for the way that I actually process my videos. So it sort of it works. When I saw it, I thought, oh wow, this is awesome, because it is something that finally there's a reason that having that would be good. Actually, I'll show you another little change that's going to come with the Golem update. Sorry, I'll just have a quick look and read a few more. Jerry's saying it does look awesome. Might want to start a new series now. Yes. So how do I get my dragon to equip a cannon? You don't. That's the other thing too. Some of the animals can. I think I may be getting it wrong. I think the dragons or some. No, I'm just trying to think of no, dragons have always been able to use different sorts of things. So don't worry about that. I'm sorry, I just had my head was in a different probably a different game, thinking about what could be equipped on different animals and things. I think I'm thinking of Dynasty Empires, to be honest, because I've been playing a bit of that in the lead up to this one. Okay, so the blueprints you're reminding me of Shadow Empire says Jerry. Yes, and Sithil's saying, personally, I like the freedom you get with traits. That a body is just a body, and it's up to you how to interpret it. And the more flexible the trait system makes it better. So since now you have extreme traits, yeah, it's good in that sort of sense. It is good actually. And but I probably would like to see the impact of those traits a little bit stronger. And I did send some feedback through to Triumph that I think it would help in battles to know what race you are playing when you got what class of weapon or what class of unit it actually is, like whether it be a shield unit or whatever else it might be. It's got that symbol. I think there should be a little symbol next to it to just indicate this is a dwarf or this is a halfling or whatever it might be, just so you're aware that there is going to be different sorts of ways of fighting with those. Because at the moment, I think once you get into a battle, I might actually load up I've got a battle. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but now I've got this one's in combat. Yeah, I'll go to this one here. So this is a city combat. And I won't play it out, but I just wanted to sort of show you some of the little things that have now changed. And this has got caltraps, if you've played the game with caltraps. And I quite like what I'm seeing here. Actually, this is towards the middle of the battle, end of the battle. Oh, this is the end of the battle. Okay, so so again, this is going to be a bit of a spoiler if you're going to be watching things. I'll try not to give away too much in through here. But, so this is the end of the battle itself. So we've got caltraps back in through this other side. I'll just zoom around a little bit. So this is the front of the actual of the location. The caltraps go all the way around. Now it used to be that there was big gaps in the caltraps and then there was gates in through here. So you'd end up with sort of like access points for forces to come out of the actual city itself. That's all gone. This is now one great big wall. I'm pretty sure that was the way it was. I just remember that with caltraps, you used to try to set up ways of coming through and breaching the walls. There'd be an actual hole in the wall. You've still got your main hole in the wall at the front, where the caltraps actually now go. They sort of extend a little bit, so you've got like a range of like 2 or 3 through the middle here, where the caltraps don't extend, but they still extend around the sides. So it becomes something where, as long as if you breach the wall, that's one thing, that's actually fine. But the main fight now is going to be in the main gate, which I'm finding really, really interesting. So this actually sort of does work very, very well. And this is sort of one of these things where like we've got we've got these guys here, for example. Now they've already used their drive back ability to push back into the gate. So there was a unit that was in the gate, and they're now moving back up. I've got other units back in through here. This one also has used that ability. This one, do you have an ability to do that one? I'll just see if you can do it. This one's got the pushback ability. So the way that pushback works is like, he's got this character here. He's probably going to kill it, actually. No, this wouldn't kill it with the drive back. But if I just go in, this is actually one of the impacts of this particular unit. By the way, this one here, these are all dwarves that we actually have. So they've got little dwarven units back in through this other side. But I found the city battles much more engaging and interesting than what they were. I'm trying to keep, because I've got dwarves, all my dwarves. So these guys here, for example, this is an overseer, the unit. I'll just zoom around so you can sort of have a bit of a look at this face. So these are dwarven overseers. They've actually now been able to. We've been able to use these guys, these dwarven skirmisher units. What are they called? The Harriers, to throw nets over the top of these units, for example. And so this one has been netted, and then this guy has come through and is now actually got the subdue. And so he's now subduing that particular unit, so that unit can no longer fight, is no longer in the battle. We've got another one back over here as well, where this one is now also subduing this particular unit back over this other side. So this is towards the end of the actual fight itself. But it's really cool the way it does work. And so these guys, if they've got the pushback, they can actually just go and this will push this unit back out to here, for example. It's not something we would want to do in this case, but I'll just go and do it. Just move this one around. A halfling, a little halfling. Actually, what happened there? So push him back, and then he takes that position. So this is like a new way of playing, which is quite cool. And then there's a cooldown after that. So that one then have a cooldown of 2 turns. But it allows you to then push units into different positions, which is quite cool. Yes, Henry's saying finally someone makes a pike and shot game. There we go. It does have that, and one of the things, where is it? This is your pike and shot unit here. So these guys are on bears. So there's your pistols. So you've got your pistols back in through here. You've got your swords in through this other side. I don't think that one can move anymore. Oh, yes, it can. So this is one where, this is the way that these actually work. Let's just go and kill that unit as an example. When I charge in with this particular unit, I've got either the melee strike or the harrying shot. So if I move up into here, for example, and then do the harrying shot, this is with these, what are these ones called? I forget what they're called. Oh, dragoons. So I'll just do the harrying shot back and through there. That's going to kill that unit. And at that point, I then get half my action points back. This is where you can then sort of move back out of the way of any sort of action, and then just make sure you change your facing, so you're facing the front, just so that there's no one can come in behind you. But that's quite a cool faction. It is a pike and shot faction, absolutely. So these guys can move in with their push. Being dwarves, they get extra abilities. If we hover over this one through here, we have. 1 defense from tier 1. They're getting +1, and they've got tough +2. Now the tough is coming from the dwarven reavers, because they're dwarves. They've got tough, and they get +2 defense. Hang on, units take, yes, that's got +2. They've got defensive tactics as well. We're sitting next to a friendly unit with defensive tactics, so that should have defensive tactics in there as well. Yeah, there it is there. So the unit has +1 defense, +1 resistance, and extra evasion. This one here, you can see they're tough. It's got +1. That +1 is coming from the defensive tactics. So this is where playing as the dwarves, these guys like to be next to each other. Like, so for example, this unit here has got 6 defense. If I move it away from the other dwarves, it's now down to 5 defense because it's moved away from the other protection. But this is where I'm thinking that almost doubling the effect of those could be quite interesting to sort of, so that way you do have to really sort of play it as like a racial unit. Like these are connected. You start thinking in those terms. Not important for the avians. If you had avian or any, like a lot of the other factions, it wouldn't be important to keep these in connection with the others. But as the dwarves, we like to bunch up. These are the matchlock cannons. And through here they do like a range of 3. Back and through this other side. Yeah, that would then sort of kill that one off. But these are quite cool. Like they, you know, the 3 action points, but you can still move them around to sort of, you know, get to positions that you do want. I think I can actually sort of do that one there. But just the fact of having the just the one doorway, you know, like and with the caltraps going all the way out, except for one little gap that you then need to still break through the gate. So it really does change the way that combat is done in cities as well. So I'm really impressed with it. I just like the changes a lot. Just little things that they don't even mention that, and it was yet for me this made this battle so much more interesting, where I had to sort of then bunch up as many units as I could to then sort of take the gates. Just read a few more comments. Yeah, Grimdark saying, "Wow, mage locks they look strong, but again, this is a hero. This is my mage locks as mage locks, and so these don't have a target. We don't. Actually, they do. They're 5%ers back and through there. Again, I have to be really careful. But if they could get the kill at 5%. By the way, if you are playing Age of Wonders, any Age of Wonders 4 game, or any recent Age of Wonders game, Planetfall or whatever, if you're trying to figure out, oh, it's 5%, God, that's a really shit attack. What can I do about it? Just press Control. It will then show you all the things that are impacting that 5%. So, for example, you've got fiery arrows, piercing, and critical hit chance of 5%. Status resistance is one of the things. We've got long range there at negative 50% and that's not going to change. Quick reflexes. That's this is a halfling back and through here. So the halfling is getting. Where is it? Yeah, sorry, the halfling is getting quick reflexes. So they already do better against ranged attacks. -5 for their defense and obscured by units. So 40% of them are obscured by these different units. And we can see there that when we hover over that, it's got like a green line up until just before that particular unit. I don't think I can bring this one out. Yeah, I can actually. I'll bring that one out. Let's just see what happens now. Press Control. Yeah, it's now gone to 10%. So we no longer have, it's still now just long range. It's still terrible, but it's not as bad as what it was. So, now we don't have the obstruction coming back across. So we're sort of firing over the top of the others. It's cool the way it does work. It's very, very cool the way the game does work. It's a great game. It's just, I do want to acknowledge the people who do struggle with the lack of the racial side of things. That's why I'm thinking I would love to see like a little race symbol next to, so I knew that what race we were dealing with, because you end up ultimately with some of your like this, for example, is not a like a matchlock cannon. You don't get the benefit. This one doesn't have the same benefit. Doesn't get the +1 because it's not actually a dwarf. It's a cannon, but not a dwarf. These guys here do because they're dwarves. So knowing what those sorts of things are would be so cool. The only way of really finding out, you know, what the benefit is and how you've then got to play with each unit is to go and click on it and then go to, for example, to Overseer, and then go to Dwarven Reavers and then look at your traits. These traits should really be prevalent, I think, like very, very quickly, visibly, so you get a feel for it, because I think that destroys the immersion a little bit. Okay, so Steve is then saying, now I want a bear race. Yeah, Actually, that probably will come. Who knows? Grimdark saying we don't even have a doggo race. Yeah, well, hopefully we don't. Actually, maybe. I mean, kobolds are dog races, aren't they? Are they? I mean, is that how I always think as kobolds as dogs, like dog men. I wonder where that comes from, actually, because I know that some people don't. Some people see them as quite different. So at least 2 more DLCs after this one. So maybe, says Steve. Yeah, at least 2. I think there'll be a lot, to be honest, if the game continues to be as successful as it has been. Yeah, so Grimdark saying, I thought they said no ships, units just embark. 7 new water maps. Yeah, there are there are water factions. Like if we go across, I'll just go back and load in another game. So the cap tier, where's it? Number 5. I'll show you a battle. Which should be around here somewhere, I think. I do have a water battle. Oh, I'm not ready for it. So that's what time was this? It was turn 33. I've already done it. So turn 33. Oh, I know what happened. I'll go back to turn 33. I remember now. I remember how I did it. Turn 33. Where was it? So load the game in. So what's been happening? What had been happening? Like every few turns, this pirate cove in through here would spawn a group of very, very deadly pirates, and the pirates would then come onto the land and start to chew away at this particular city. And so I ended up needing to have like two big stacks just to take it out. It was difficult, actually. So it was sort of interesting the way it sort of did work. But this so the pirate cove itself is fairly weak. It's only got like halberdiers back and through here, so just like low level tier 2 units. But these, again, you have to know what you're dealing with. So we're dealing with the industrious lizards. These are all the industrious lizards. This is why seeing what they've got accessible, particularly during battle, is so important to know that they're tenacious. So units at low health still do a lot of damage, so it's important to know that you can't just weaken them. So the more units you take off, it's not going to impact their damage all that much. The poisonous is a massive one, so melee attackers have a 60% chance of becoming poisoned, so you've got to be careful of that. And then cold-blooded, so their morale loss is reduced by 50%, so they hardly lose any morale. And so in this case, I'll just end the turn. And we'll just wait. I can only get onto the water. So I get onto the water that turn, but I do actually have, like, for example, this stone spirit can actually make its way across the water. Do I have anything else in there? Yeah, so I'll just use the stone spirit to continue on out. So these guys have actually been licking their wounds from a previous fight with these pirates, and they were getting stronger and stronger. So this is what it now looks like with their battles. So we'll just go into manual combat. This is one that we're definitely going to be, absolutely destroying. They just look better, so they've got better sort of maps, but it still doesn't do too much different. Like it still plays out as as one of the old battle sort of styles. But you've then got more interesting terrain on the actual on the maps themselves. I won't play it out, but that's basically the way it sort of then works. You also then can see what's on a bit more easily. But again, I wish that it would show what the actual what the grouping actually is that you're then sort of dealing with. But it's and some of their abilities still work. Some of them don't. There's one that's got another heavy mage lock coming back through this other side. Again, can't use it once we sort of go close. But I won't. I'll just stop that one through there. We'll just go back out and I'll load another one of those in. I'll load episode 5. Show you some of the map. There are new terrains. Not many. It's just forest. Oh, I can't see it. I've sort of gone off there, but there's mangroves. Actually, that's water. Yeah, mangrove forest back in through there. But mangrove forest is actually part of water as well. So you've got those. Don't think we've got any of that nearby with where we actually are. They've got other things like, they've got different things now in the water, like pearl reefs and stuff like this. There's an awful lot that's been added in. It's nice the way that they've done it, like very, very nice. It does look good. So it's, anyway, I won't sort of show too many sort of spoilers, etc. But like these guys, this pirate cove here, for example, is now encroached into my territory. So I need to clear that one out as well. So it's a very, very cool game, the way it does actually work out. Now, where have we got? We've got... oh, actually, so Amnesia was saying didn't realise you could change facing. That's a critical thing. When you're playing the game, always check your facing. Just get used to it. There's 2 ways to do it. If you're in a combat, just show you. So to change the facing of a unit. Now, it doesn't matter if you... so there's a few times when it doesn't matter, there's a few times when it does matter, and there's a few times when you've got no choice with it at all. So, for example, I've got like some weakened units back in through here. This is one of my polearm units, so I'm going to move that one up. Now, if I move that one up and then click on defensive mode, it won't matter what the facing is. It will defend all the way around it. So that's now defending. If I have other units though that I want to change the facing, let's just say I move that unit up to there, for example, and well, like, it can still matter actually. Even like if you're facing the wrong way and you get charged, some units, if you get charged by another unit, they can then destroy your defensiveness, and that way they can then get flanking attacks. So to change the facing, one way to do it, one way that's can be a little bit awkward, is to right clicking now and dragging into one of these squares around it to change the way it faces. It doesn't cost anything to do it. Even when a unit has been done like this, I can still, actually no, I can't do it once it's been set to guard mode. It doesn't chew up any of the action points. So it's still got 3 action points. So I can change the facing at any point. The other way of doing it, so if I move up to here, for example, and I want to change the facing, I either right click and drag to change the facing like that, or go back to number 1, or rotate and just go and say, okay, face that way. Oops, hang on, I'm just going to right click that way. That's safer because you then don't have the, you can't accidentally move off. Like for example, if I think that I've done it, but yeah, see, that was an accident, but you do have an undo. But it's certain units, like sometimes you will actually accidentally move or do something you don't want to do. So it is safer to use the number 1 key. If I just press number 1, I can then just go and change the facing. Oops, with that one there to whichever, to whatever I want. Okay, I'm just doing the right click, there we go. So and again, it's only because you don't want to be hitting the flanks with any sort of attack. So yeah, facing is critically important, particularly if you've got the these guys here, because if they go in, they can move into there. This is range 4, so I'm just looking at that there. So range 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't reach any of those. Let's just end our turn. Yeah, so with this unit here, for example, which is the one that can skirmish. So what I could do in here, now, I don't, look, the abilities of these Dragoons, the Dragoons are incredibly good. as a tier 3 unit. They've got all sorts of different abilities. So if we just sort of go through them, they've got their cavalry, so they're mounted on an animal. They've basically got land movement, and they've got skirmish units. So cheap and swift units that are useful at flanking and targeting lone enemies. That's really what they're useful for. Skirmish units gain swift, so they ignore the effects of slowing terrain in combat, and slippery. This unit does not trigger opportunity attacks. So we can move right up to another unit and not trigger the opportunity attack if we wanted to, which is unique, like for the skirmishers. We've then got what else do we have? We've got defensive tactics at the moment because we're standing next to other dwarves. What else do they have? Fleeting. This unit is not stopped by any zone of control. This unit can actually run through zone of control, which makes it incredibly manoeuvrable. Master Skirmisher, yep, there we go. So after attacking, they gain half their action points. These are really, really cool. And then slippery and swift because they're skirmisher units. So all this stuff is, when you combine all these, it actually works fairly well. So we've got a few different things we could do with this one here. Now you can see there that the retaliation is going to hurt us pretty badly. But one thing I can do, let's just do it anyway. We're only going to have one action point by the time we get there. You can see the one little dot, which means I've only got the single shot. So this is going to be pretty useless. It's going to do 16 damage per shot, whereas my actual harrying shot would do a lot more at 27 plus some fire damage as well at range 4. So if I move up, for example, if I move in to actually attack this one, if I move through it, we don't get the retaliation strike. Let's just do it anyway. This is not ideally. You would actually use the other one to do this one. So we can't use that because we're now hooked in. We'll just go and do a shot here. So we've taken we took a bit of damage there because of they get the first strike, then they get the retaliation strike. Now we actually have, after that, we can move away, and they don't get a shot as we move away. But now it's critical that we actually now change our facing, because we no longer have the we can't go into guard mode. All we can do is just skip the turn. So this is where we have to just press number 1 and face the right way. Hang on, I came on left and right clicking incorrectly, because otherwise that won't be a flanking shot. The other one will be a flanking shot. So that's really, really important. So anyway, that's sort of, if I end the turn here again, they'll come after me. And of course, because I've run away, they're going to have less action points. And so it's not a flanking shot that they get. I mean, you wouldn't do what I just did there, but anyway, you get the idea. It's the combination of being able to do and being able to move around. Like, and think, okay, I'm going to charge around here now. You can't do this with other units, but with this unit you can. And smack that one. And then still run away. It's incredible. Like these are great units. Like they're so useful. I mean, that was not what you would do, but it's certainly you can do an awful lot with them. Okay, so where did we get up to? It's a bit of a read. Sorry, I just went off the bottom of the map there. So with 5%, just close your eyes and pull the trigger. Not necessarily, actually. Not necessarily. There's so many other little factors. Like there's 25% on top of an attack. If I've got anyone that can actually do it, no, these guys can't do their. Yes, they can. So this is a 40% attack at this point in time, which means it gives me. And if I press Control, I can see what's coming in through here. The main problem we have is that we've got the 50% long range penalty, and the others are bolstered. But this is sort of what's going to go into it. But if we get the hit there, we're going to be doing 25 total damage, 24 physical, and 1 fire at 40%. Now it doesn't really explain it well in the game, but there's another 25% on top of the 40%, which is your graze amount. So we've actually got up to 65% chance of doing some damage to that particular unit. And so if I go and hit that one, and we missed, that means that when we rolled the dice, we rolled, actually it does it the other way around. So if it's 65% was chance to hit it, it means we had to roll, we rolled a number lower than 35. And so if we have a look at the battle log, the combat history, we'll then sort of find that that very last one, roll to hit was 16. We needed a 60 actually to get that one. So I thought it was 65, but anyway, no, it was 20, I forget what it was before. It was 40. They must have changed that as well, because it was 25. It looks like it's only 20 now. So we rolled to hit out of 100. We rolled a 16 and we needed a 60. So, sorry, no, it's... oh, no, 60 was where we were. It was actually, because that was the 40. It's still 25. So I'll try to get one where we get a glancing shot. So if I just go into there, there's 75% there, 50. I'll do a 50 and just see how we go. In fact, that one there, I'm going to get a shot no matter what, because the 25% on top still adds up to a hit, but only a graze. So let's just see if we can get a graze. Yeah, that one was a graze, and so with that particular shot, if we have a look at the combat log now, that number is going to be between 1 and 0 and 25, 0 and 24. And so this next one was that it was, we rolled an 11. We needed a 25 to get the full hit, but we rolled within 25 of that 25. So we still got so we rolled the 11, so we do the graze. And so it then sort of goes through the other different bits and pieces. But that's how how that aspect works as well. But it's such a cool little game. And again, if we think, okay, I'm gonna push these guys back. I don't know what happens if I haven't tried this yet. If I try to push back into an area that it can't go to, it just stays there. All right, so it doesn't work pushing it back like that. But and this is actually where we can then try to do the submission. Let's just see if we can do it. It's a 100% chance to immobilize it. So it's been immobilized and marked. It's also burning because of what was there. So this thing is now immobilized. The halberdier has is basically, this unit cannot move or use its movement abilities. So now we can bring our overseer in. This is actually where this little combo works so well. 100% chance to hit it there. I want to get the highest hit chances that I can get. So let's just move that one up. And so in this case, we now actually have this special subdue amount. And so with that one through there, 100% chance it's going to be subdued. And so that one no longer will take part in the battle. And at the end of the battle, we can then use our war points to again go and claim that unit. So that's sort of how all that works. It's really, really good the way it looks. It's such an interesting faction playing as the Reavers. So this is all Reaver specific stuff that we're seeing through here. Now, where do we get up to? Yeah, hyena are more closely related to cats and canines. Yeah, actually, gnolls are more hyena men, aren't they? Yeah, so that was Spark was saying that. Actually, Rogue was saying, I believe they tried hard to not have a set race per se. Everything is bland and the same, so it appears. So not surprising that being a race is fun because they are different. Yeah, so it's got the gnolls are more hyena men, and hyena are more closely related to cats than canines. Matthew's saying dog kobolds is early Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, that would be it. Actually, that's probably where I got it from. Okay, so Dungeons and Dragons kobolds, while small lizard-like creatures these days still yap a bit like dogs. There we are. What are they in Dwarf Fortress? I can't remember what the kobolds are. Are they dog-like, or are they sort of just little lizard men? They're not lizard men, I don't think. Kobolds and folklore tend to be more like small, deformed small men, a bit like dwarfs. So there is a lot of There's a lot of ideas on how they look. Yeah, or like gnomes, says Sithel. Sorry, I'm missing a few of the comments through here. I'll just skim past a few of these. Yes, sea folk would be sweet. Still saying, yeah, I have some idea one could implement sea folk in the game mechanically. In Dominions, I do like the Water Nations, even if they tend to have an uphill battle. I don't like the Water. I play without them actually in Dominions. Thanks for showing. It's been a while since I played. I never thought to use it. I'm not sure which one that was about, but yeah, this one like this, the Reavers are fun to play. I've got to say, really good fun. So Sar Voltra saying, what's up everyone? Enjoying your Dwarf Distant Worlds 2 tutorials from earlier this year. Thanks for that. I've got to re-upload a lot of my other old videos, so I've got to keep on putting them in. There is another update coming. I don't know if it's public yet for Distant Worlds, but maybe I won't say anything just yet. I know there's something on the cards. Anyway, we'll maybe talk about that in the coming weeks. Michael's saying, does Age of Wonders 4 have units that can only be found in ruins, that can't be built or summoned or recruited in special towns, like Age of Wonders 3 has? To a degree, yes. When you do take over a special location, they haven't got enough of them, and so I hope that they change it. But you can get like trolls and things like that. So yes, there are. So it's just saying, yeah, there is that stuff. And Aries is saying it's like knights in chess. Like these guys here, yeah, they're interesting, those ones. Jonathan saying, thanks for the stream and insights into the Age of Wonders 4 DLC, Daz. Have to leave early, not a worry. Okay, so what we'll do is we will leave that there, because we've run out of time, basically. Exit the game. Anyway, that's a pretty deep dive into what's coming. I don't know if I covered everything. Have a quick look at Steam. And actually, no, there's nothing on Steam there. I'll just go back to my actual Steam install, just see if there's anything in the library area. Master of Magic had an update today, but I don't know what it is. I didn't see anything in the community hub about it. Just have a look at the discussions. You know, nothing there at this stage. Just read across the top through here. So Galaxy 4 keeps on getting better and better. There's more and more changes to it coming all the time, like every week. There's like another fairly major change. Yep, this is the form traits and item forge. So we've covered that today. Stellaris always got an update. Rust, we're not really covering. Galaxy 4 we've spoken about briefly. Yep, we've got the different golems coming through here with Age of Wonders 4. Stone Shard. Now this is something we've got to look at some point, because Stone Shard I think is now officially launched. I think I may be getting that wrong with another game. Astro Colony, I haven't played that one much. .age was awesome. Just keep on going back there. Now this is a new Golden Prophecy. Okay, this is a really cool game, but I've already done a video on that one. Diggs I haven't played really. Odd Realm I haven't played. Lost Legends expansion. Okay, there's a dev diary. I might have to read that one later. Mellow is now fairly old. Songs of Conquest, Halloween Art Contest. That should have been. Oh, that's old. That's old news. Halloween is gone. Thank God. Hexakey. I've got to do a video on this. This is a really, really good game. Astro Colony. Yep, we got that one through there. Yeah, Strategic Command, Empires in Turmoil. I don't think that's launched yet. I do want to have a look at that one. And then Airships also did release some like giant tarantulas and things for Halloween. So that was, and then Hexakey back in through here again as well. So when did that one come out? Does that one, just go back again. October. Yeah, no, it's okay. Now Hexakey is really, really cool, the way that one sort of does play. Anyway, let's not worry too much about the other bits and pieces. I think my Discord, I think we've spoken about Galaxy Force briefly. There's a discussion between people who are just looking at Drax and Kingdoms, Dungeons and Heroes. I do want to have a look at that one through there as well. I won't sort of stop with any of this stuff. Anyway, let's get back into the important marble run. So we'll go and do that. Just get Nightbot loaded in. Okay, so Michael's saying, Daz, have you tried the demo of Soul Ash 2? No, I try not to play demos too much, to be honest. So I don't tend to watch them. But I'm interested in games. So if a game is coming, I'm sort of hopeful that we end up with more sort of games listed on the. Drixie's saying, finally the Age of Wonders 4 talk is over. It's important stuff. I love that game. It's still my favourite game. But anyway, it's It's well, it was in the title. We were going to do a deep dive into what's coming with Age of Wonders. There's been a lot of changes. The Golem update does do a lot. All right, now giveaways. No, there's nothing to give away, so it's just for fun. I'll just put the word win. But if you type anything at all and it comes up in here, I'm just going to put you in the marble run. So yeah, type away, guys. Type away. So I was saying it's good to see what else they'll do with Galcit 4. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where that one ends up. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, actually saying just can't get into it. Yeah, look, I understand that. It's sort of like it's one of those things I'm trying to really get get a feel for what that is with people, and I think it's to do with the races. I think the lack of racial abilities has been really the problem. I'm just going to grab myself another drink of water. Be right back. All right. So we've still got a few of them going there. Okay, guys. So I'll just grab the list here. I think we'll just make sure that no one else misses out. I mean, it's not that there's much benefit. There's no giveaways today. Reed, you're in there. So I've got Reed is the last one. Just go Control C. Replace all. Oh, that didn't work. No, that still didn't work. How do I put in? Try that. It's got it. Okay, it's done. So, good luck, guys. I've got a few more. I've got Matthew is in there. You're in there. Bubo is not in there. It's easier for me to do it in here. Cecil's in there as well. That's all fine. Okay, and we had Genos is in there. Okay, I think that was all we had to action. So we've got 26, same as last week. Just do a save. Minimize that. Here we go. Okay, so Cecil's saying, personally, I think it's a lack of impact of choices. The races are fine on principle, but their lack of impact is yeah. That's why I'm wondering what would happen if you doubled the impact and see how that then played. But I also think not being able to see exactly what race they are in the fights also has a bearing. I would love to see that also listed. And I think modding could certainly help with making them more impactful, but unique units as well. Still saying why the major transformations are more fun than the minor ones. The minor are more something you can just stack on each other. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so Jenna's saying, yeah, thank you, Daz. I made it back. All right, so we'll go across into. God, this is a messy way of doing things, isn't it? I keep on changing it. Clear that. Is that today's? Yeah, it is. Okay. Go Grand Prix. We'll do 3 maps. And we'll use bots. 26 is exactly what we wanted. So good luck, guys. We'll see how we go. Hang on, why can't I race? Start. There we go. What will we end up with? All right, so here we go. Start the race. Got moving pieces. Okay, I think availability was the first one off. So if we can see who makes it down through here. Oh, CB straight down the bottom. Charank is down there as well. Reed, Drexy, heaps of you. Who's going to come through the bottom here? So it is, the first one out is CB. So I'll just follow this, some of these. So we've got Charank, Drexy. Whoa, people are going to drop off there, I'm pretty sure. So Drexy coming through here. Drexy's actually taken the lead by the looks. Yeah, no one's dropped off yet. Matthew Logan's down the bottom there. And here comes Lucia. You've got people on the other side there as well. So CB's still out in front. Looks like it might be just Drexy out in second with Charank coming in third. Going straight through. Well, there we go. So you get points from where you end up. Here they come, the last of them. The last of them. This is cool, this one. It's called Buckshot. It's good. So A.S. Russell is the leader there. So it must be how close you are to the middle, I'm guessing. So well done. So you're the first winner. Yeah, it must be. Yeah, because CB was the first one through, but it was actually how accurate you end up hitting the middle of them. But I guess looks like that's the distance from the centre. That's cool. That's a cool race, that one. I do like that one. Okay, next map. So now I've got hop, skip, and jump. Well, this looks interesting. Haven't seen this one before. It's got a toon shader. See who makes it through first. Looks like Rogue. Rogue's the furthest one down. Or maybe Michael. Michael might have just taken over. Yeah, no, Rogue's gone back up again. Around they go. Oh, Michael in there. Actually, Michael is the first one through. So Michael, first one out. Aries, Janose, Sithel. Then you've got to make it through this little area. He's going to make it through here with the cannon. That's going to be interesting. See what actually happens. So they're all in the... Okay, Rogue is the first one out. Okay, so Rogue now goes across the top. You've got to make it across there. And did you make it? No, you didn't. There goes Reed, Drexy, Aries. Oh, some of you have made it in. Actually, most of you are now... Oh, no, some of you are not. So Sar and Juicy Hex, A.S. Russell, Steve Rudolph, you guys have all missed out. You've been fired by the cannon. So we've got Bubo's just dropped out as well. So we've got availability miles out in front of everyone else now. Will you make it to the end? I think you will. I don't think it's going to be anything else too much to throw people off the actual map itself. So you're an easy winner here. Oh, maybe. Oh, no, you did make it. You did drop off. Okay, so you've got to be careful here, guys. Here comes Drexy. Oh, Drexy bypassed it completely. And Neomac as well. So Drexy's the first one in. Neomac coming in second. CB is coming in third currently. Spark. Genos has got a bit of speed there. Lucia. Matthew, then Lucia. Yep, so there we go. There's the final bits coming. So Guy Bellaby and then Charank. But a lot of people didn't make it through in that particular run. That was a good one, actually. I enjoyed that. Steve saying, die twice. I want a refund. That was good. That was good on that one. So Drexy won that one. We'll see the final results. That was a time trial type thing. So a lot of people did not finish that one after that cannon shot. Okay, last race. Here we go. So Pixels Raceway. We've had this one before. Here's saying this game reminds me of Fertilization. I don't know that one. This looks similar to what we had. So let's just start the race. Okay, as Russell straight through. Yeah, I've got to hope that somehow Steve has to end up There's Steve Rudolph there. Will he somehow make his way off this map and be destroyed? We can only hope. There's nothing. There's just tyres there. Nothing exploding. So AS Russell way out in front. That makes it can be a bit dangerous. More tyres. Wow, miles out in front. Here comes the others. Here comes Steve. Steve, you've made it. You've hit the lead. No, not quite. Oh, you got caught up in the tyres. That's no good. Janos is way out in front now. There goes Adrian, Marco, Cherenk, Drexy, Michael. Where's Steve gone? Is he off the map? He's coming fifth. There he goes. He's actually heading. He said, I'll choose number 5. Yeah, so he's now gone a long way behind. Here we go. This is the final little bit. Bang! Straight through. Did anyone fall off? Not yet. No, Readers. Who's going to make it through here? Wow. It's very close, guys. Oh, close finish. Close finish there. So Miguel, Aries, Janos, CB, Sithel, everyone's just coming through all in one go. That was a really, really close finish. That was a good one. Actually, we haven't had that one before. I thought I'd seen the name before. So Miguel is the first one through there. Well done. So Steve, you did finish. Oh, you were coming first. You're coming first, and now you're back into 22nd. What happened? It was that tyre. That tyre was the thing that got you in the end. I actually thought, oh, here he comes. This will make up for the falling off the racetracks twice. But no, that was a terrible finish. Terrible finish. All right, let's continue on. We'll finish the Grand Prix. We'll see who wins. Who is the winner? What points will they get? Okay, so it's AS Russell, came in third. Coming in second, we've got Drexy. And winning nothing, but coming in first, is Miguel Ramos. There we go. Congratulations, guys. And thanks for participating and watching the stream. It was good fun as usual. I always enjoy doing these. So, yeah, thanks for that. And I'll be back again next week. I'm not exactly sure what time I'm going to nail down. So I did the... I may have something else I have to do a bit later in the day on the Monday, on my Tuesday. So I'll see how my timing goes, but it should be... I think this will be at the regular time slot as of from today's time slot, but it may have to go back a little bit earlier every so often. Anyway, guys, going to leave it there. So thanks for that. I'll catch you next week.